Hello everyone, welcome back to Saturn mission testing in Kerbal Space Program 1.12 with Realism Overhaul, where I have launched the pieces of my Saturn mission, but they are on their way, and I haven't time warped to the mid-course correction yet. And good thing too, because I hadn't unlocked the ammonia tanks, which are necessary for the water recycler. So let me do that now, so that the water recycler can actually work. It's supposed to dump the ammonia anyway. I should just probably tell it to, well, it says nothing here. It's not letting me dump the ammonia. I don't know if it's eventually going to let me dump the ammonia. Alright, it says 18 years of clean water. That's good, as long as it stays true. Our tight thing is the food. We can use, there's a aquaponics function in this. It doesn't do a whole lot. If I add it, well, it takes a lot of the water, though. It is aquaponics. Though that I don't know if that's as much as I wanted to take of the water. Maybe we shouldn't use that much. Yeah, we'll reserve the aquaponics for an emergency mainly, I think. I don't know if we need that. Okay, I think we can be on our way. And we'll focus on this, just to make sure nothing bad happens. Now if we go to mid-course correction. Producer of actinides, that would be the reactor. Are you saying I can't time warp fully? It doesn't like large levels of time warp. Kerbalism and KSP Interstellar are not getting along with each other, basically, I think. Let me see if I can get it to dump the ammonia now, maybe. This... we should be able to dump things. I can't even toggle this running. That seems suspicious. Let me go to the tracking station and come back to it. Okay, now it's dumping... I don't want water. Now it's dumping the ammonia. Okay. It said water and ammonia initially. That would be not right. Okay, we are in better shape. But still the time warping might try to limit me. And that's gotta be frustrating. The clean water sure is depleting faster than the food and the oxygen, though. And it, okay, well, but it's sort of flickering now. I don't know. Recyclers are always troublesome with KSP because you can never know if they're being kept track of properly. Okay, well, I can't just time warp at this level all the way to Saturn. I mean, I can, but it's gonna take hours, so... but it really doesn't want... unload the vessel. Can you just pretend we can get electric charge and leave it be? Maybe I should just cut out if supplies are low as a thing that I keep track of. Oh, but it does really go down on the electric charge if I time warp too much. As we can see, yeah. Okay, well, it's gotta be a long trip. It's gotta be a long trip for me, which I was not counting on. It's like 1 day per second is as fast as I can go. Guess I'll activate these since disabling them didn't work out. Aldon is up to 13% stress, so we will continue to watch if Aldon, you know, kills everyone or something. Radiation 3% on the others. Aldon has actually less oh, now Aldon's caught up on radiation. We're at day 208. Liquid hydrogen has been depleting too fast. We are tailed to the sun right now. I hope it will stop doing that. The depletion rate is going down, but not as much as I would like, considering we don't have much delta V. Now, prior to time warping here, I have zipped up the save. I had previously time warped all the way out to Saturn before, and it didn't have so much boil off. So, not thrilled by this. I have zipped up the save, so if we need to revert to where they've finished their transfer burns, but we still might have a chance to throw something at Saturn, I can do that. Oh, it took me out of time warp. Wait. Why is it not producing power now? We have uranium. Did our reactor shut down? Well, it's not shut down. I mean, it says active. I don't know why 6%, but it's active. Generator is active. Has efficiency. So why are we not producing electric charge? Let me go to tracking station and come back to it, maybe. As if limiting the time warp isn't bad enough. Yeah, it's still depleting the electric charge. Pretty quickly, too. What could even be doing that? I mean, I guess, you know, the life support certainly would. But that would be only if we weren't producing any electric charge, which we should be. And we were, up till now. In fact, since the megajoules are topped off, that means that KSP Interstellar thinks that we have enough. I've used this reactor setup on the way to Saturn before with the Enceladus lander. We time warped all the way to Enceladus with it, but that was without Kerbalism. So apparently Kerbalism is interfering somewhat with the operations of this vessel. Oh boy. Alright, let me try and restart the game and hope that it resets that electric charge consumption. Okay, well, yeah, we are not getting power from the reactor, even though we ought to be. Maybe we just got so far out that the solar panels weren't supplying enough anymore, and that's what... And we were never actually getting react, but the solar panels were never enough to supply the ion engines. We really should have power. I mean, the megajoules would deplete first before the electric charge, normally. It's weird. The fact that the megajoules and waste heat are locked is normal. That's just part of KSP Interstellar's accounting. Well, I can do a few things to solve this problem. I can sort of add a sort of generator module to the hab to counteract the amount of electric charge draw, just to make up for the fact that we should be getting it from a reactor anyway. I think that's probably the best idea. Yeah, I'll go with that. Everything says that the reactor is providing the power. It's not like the reactor has had a problem or something. This says maximum electric power 5.2 megawatts, so you're radiating some, but that's because we're not producing that much. So, okay, I'm gonna do that quote-unquote cheat, but it's not a cheat because it's making up for what is an apparent glitch. And let me do that and restart, and hopefully everything will be alright. Alright, now we have recharge. I added a 5 kilowatt generator into the hab, and that seems to be good enough for now. So, well, now it says producer of... It won't let me time warp past this time warp level. Okay, but if I time warp and the tracking station won't keep track of things properly, especially not to boil off on the hydrogen, and I want that to be legit. It's not super high right now, I don't think. It's 0.03366 kilograms per hour on that tank, and same on this tank, about 5 watts each. And they're tilted to the sun. We would expect to lose 1.9 tons of the hydrogen. I forget what the density of hydrogen is, but it's gotta be a big chunk of the liquid hydrogen that we have left. I don't know if there's an easy way to see what part. I think we have maybe 5 tons of hydrogen. I think that the gap between that number and that number is our hydrogen. So, yeah. The problem is we need some in order to capture. I should use more boil-off resistant tanks, potentially. We could just capture the boil-off and try to cool it. The Fuji stage has that. This doesn't. But yeah, I can't time warp past this time warp step, and we'll never get there if I try and stay out here, so I have to go to a tracking station and try a time warp there. But we'll have to keep in mind that maybe we shouldn't have as much delta V as I have, though I'm expecting us to have more delta V when we get there than we currently have, because we will have consumed some of the supplies. But yeah, if this doesn't work out, I'll launch some more support missions, and in the revised version of all this, I'll ultimately bake that stuff into the main launches. I'm already sort of anticipating that we'll need more than just one Enceladus lander. We did lose some more delta V during that time warp. And we did lose the hydrogen. We lost some hydrogen, but now we're not losing hydrogen, interestingly enough. Yep, well, okay, hopefully we'll maintain this amount of hydrogen then. We certainly lost some while I was time warping in the tracking station, but looks like it's stabilized. I guess all the MLI layers I slapped on are actually doing something here. Is the reactor working for the ions at least? Well, that seems fine so far. Well, Alden is once again totally stressed out at 39%. We'll find out this time whether he's gonna have a breakdown. Otherwise, 0 stress, 6% radiation. Our supply is mostly tracked. The clean water is hard to figure out at this point. But the wastewater is not there, so that's a good sign. Okay, I'll take that. Let's see how much it'll take to capture. So right now, officially, we don't have enough as far as that number is concerned, but we do have some with the RCS, though we don't want to use that. And then some we'll get if we, well, let's dump the waste. Maybe that'll help. That's a ton of waste right there. No, we didn't get that much from that. Alright, I'm gonna leave it spinning here. We can get rid of that node and add the one in 5 years to capture. No, let's do the SOI change. 5 years and 72 days. We will enter Saturn SOI. But we have some other business to attend to. Certainly don't have much liquid hydrogen here left, but I don't remember exactly what we were at when we left it and decided not to use the NTP anymore, the nuclear engine. But we don't have any heat penetration right now, just like with the other mission, because we're too far out, presumably. This at least does not need any additional power generation. It's good on electric charge, and the only thing that could be supplying it is the nuclear reactor from KSP Interstellar. So yeah, I don't know why with our crude ship we had a problem. This certainly needs power because we've got a control core on it. I think going retrograde a little bit, we'll pull that up. It's already up. You know what? I'm fine with it rolling around a whole lot. That's okay. And capture. A bear capture will be like that. So this Enceladus lander will be arriving. We really should have gotten it there ahead of the main ship, because so it could do the refueling stuff, drilling for fuel ahead of time. Maybe the previous year this should have been launched. I'll keep that in mind for when I revise things, but right now it's arriving 4 months afterwards. Okay, I swear we had more with this Titan lander before. Up here we've had boil off of the hydrogen, but not that much. And now it's stopped, so... And that's just a procedural tank, mind you. That's not like some special tank I made. That's just a procedural tank with MLI layers. It did have boil off. It wasn't not calculating it, but the boil off has stopped and it's a reasonable amount there still. But yeah, we sure don't have any in these tanks though. That's a bit of a problem. Maybe it decided to take all of our fuel from these tanks and skip that tank. I don't know really how it calculates the boil off sometimes. Because how did that stuff stay and these all boil away? So anyway, well, I guess we have a bit of a pickle because our RCS runs off of the hydrogen, and now we don't have any in these tanks. We'll have to use some hydrogen from there in order to run the RCS. Now we'll get some Oberth benefit when doing this burn. I mean, it doesn't seem like we have enough right now, but maybe we'll get some help from Titan on this one. Also, if we didn't have to do this inclination burn, that would be good. So, let's see if I can shove that ascending node to the periapsis. That increases our inclination with respect to Titan, but we stand a better shot of correcting that if we do an apoapsis instead of where I was doing it before, so this will be better, I think. Okay, so let's do this burn first. Maybe we'll get there. Everything's tight, but I meant for everything to be tight. There's no frills. We are starting maybe underestimating things, and then we'll end up having to add a few things to fix it. But I'd rather do that than go overkill right away just to be safe. I want a trim mission. Well, like I said, we're gonna need this hydrogen. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. No more RCS. And let's see, capture. And then boost up plus the inclination correction. Might not need to do the inclination correction up there, but probably it's okay compared to doing it once we arrive at Titan. Okay, maybe just 640 up there. That leaves us with 1,000, but unless Titan has a lot of Oberth at that point, we're looking at 1,900 there. Well, we'll have to see. Could be we have to... I mean, then we could use the lander to try and capture, and then we'll have to refuel the lander before trying to land. That's an option. I wouldn't want to do that, but it's an option to refuel the lander before landing using the Enceladus lander, but we only have one Enceladus lander, and I don't know how many refueling trips it can do. I mean, for Titan, basically it can only do one refueling trip anyway, so that would be a problem. I've sort of ignored Iapetus, I guess we would call it Iapetus, as far as a place where we can get water from to refuel. I've picked the more likely place to get water, but harder place to get to, which is Enceladus. Enceladus definitely has water, no problem there, but it's really hard to get to down there. So I might have to consider the higher up moon and pretend it has water. I mean, it might have water anyway, just so it won't be very accessible water. Not as accessible as Enceladus has. Anyway, this is set up at least for the journey to Saturn, so we can time warp to Saturn and then see what happens. But this is sure arriving a lot later than the main ship. Alright, back to the main ship. It keeps trying to draw the electric charge when I'm not looking. As you can see, it diminished the electric charge. Focusing on that. It says perpetual here. Perpetual means perpetual. It's okay at this time warp. No, here it's fluctuating, you see. Oh, then it says no, none. Life support systems are off. No, see? You can't do that. Maybe I should just add a more powerful generator to it instead of 5 kilowatts. But if it's not going to keep track, it's not going to keep track. Fatality, okay, great. See, now that's just Kerbalism. The electric charge is full here. Oh, now they've all frozen to death. Okay, let me just quit out and hope that didn't save that state. Well, we probably have some backup saves to work with, but this is what I do not need. So instead of 5 kilowatts, I made it 10, but I still don't know if it's going to work stably in time warp or not, or whether it's going to have the same problem. So let me just do the Titan Lander thing off camera, and then we'll see what happens with this. But it is interesting, I noticed that it seems to be depleting the hydrogen, even though previously we did not have... Well, it says no heat penetration there. Where is it? I mean, I see some hydrogen depletion. Where is that being depleted from? There's none in these tanks. That one doesn't seem to have any depletion. So when we look up here, it says 0.00, and that's usually an indication that something's being depleted. And I'm just wondering from where. Okay, well, that's suspicious, but I'm gonna leave this adrift. It is poised, and let's go to the tracking station and see if we continue to have problems with people dying. Okay, well, right now electric charge is perpetual. Climatization, the amount that it uses increases over time. That might have had an effect. It seems like the use of power gets pushed beyond 5 per second, so maybe now adding extra power capabilities will do the trick. Don't like the number for the clean water. Hopefully that'll get fixed when we come out of time warp. So Alden has 102% stress. Oh, now the Titan Lander has no more electric charge. It also has a nuclear reactor. The clean water number is not what I want it to be. So first I'm gonna check on the main ship, and hopefully we'll have some rebalancing on that. Well, it has the liquid hydrogen tanks are now empty. Now we had not had any boil off, and then now it decided that we do have boil off, and that they are empty. So frankly, I think that it's not keeping track of it right. Or maybe it's our orientation. I don't know. This orientation is a little bit sus, but I do think that there was a problem. I'll try the orientation being tail first to see if that helps, but sometimes it just seems to randomly boil off, so I think we might have had some of that this time. Let me take a look at the Titan Lander. Electric charge is definitely not all gone, but it's not replenishing, which is weird. It should be replenishing. Okay, what's the power situation? Well, it says Titan Lander. It's not giving me telemetry readings here. I can't check what it's doing with the power. This one still has liquid hydrogen, but probably not as much as it ought to. Weirdly, it's not reading any delta V from liquid oxygen, even though we have liquid oxygen right now. Oh wait, this doesn't have liquid oxygen. This... oh, it's the upper stage that has liquid oxygen. Somehow all the liquid oxygen boiled off? Because we sure had liquid oxygen here. Something weird has happened with the boil off. And liquid oxygen shouldn't be boiling off out here, not with all the MLI layers we have. So, but maybe tail first would be a good thing here too. But weirdly, the hydrogen didn't all boil off. how did this lose all the liquid oxygen? Anyway, but also it's a weird thing happening with the electric charge that I do not understand. Because we have electric charge, but it's not letting us use the electric charge to maintain comms, I suppose. We don't technically have comm signal enabled right now. That is, I've made it so that they don't require comms for control. And in fact, I don't have to have control. I don't have to have comms for control right now, but for some reason it says connection timed out there and it's not giving me the numbers. So, alright, I'm gonna pause here and consider all this because we've had some inconsistencies with our fuel levels. Let's put it that way. It's popped up with, maybe it should have been taking boil off all the time, but it suddenly popped up with some boil off when it said it wasn't gonna do boil off. I'll think about that. In this orientation, there is boil off on that tank. I think I'll try and go tail first, but it's sort of turning towards the sun right now, and it's not having a whole lot of effect. Well, it's sort of off to the side. Okay, some peculiarities here. And we're on our way to Saturn, but I'll probably have to revert a little bit depending on what I decide to do about these things. That's mainly the power thing. Well, it's sort of trying to replenish power a little bit there. It's doing something. So yeah. By the way, this is 1.12.3, so the numbers read a little bit differently than in 1.12.5. That was a compatibility thing that I decided to use 1.12.3, so that's why a depletion is a positive number and replenishment is a negative number up there. I know in 1.12.5 with Realism Overhaul that's reversed. Anyway, so I'm gonna leave it here for now with all these puzzles. I'm not entirely sure Kerbalism is doing the bookkeeping exactly right. I thought it would be better than TAC Live support, but maybe I'm just gonna have to twist the arm of TAC Live support eventually to do it a little bit more properly. We'll see. Yeah. Maybe I'll figure out something, hopefully. So, with that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. And I'll see you next time.